Assalamualaikum to Madam Sherina. This is our final infographic for Pareto chart. The detail will be explained by me and my group member after this.
Um, Pareto chart contains both bars and lines where individual values are represented in descending order by bars. The cumulative total of the sample is represented by the curved line. And Pareto chart is used to identify areas to focus first in process improvement. And the significance is it run an analysis on broader causes by breaking them down into individual factors and also to analyze the quality and defect data.
My name is Hidayah Latif with metric number 7651. I will explain on the principle of this Pareto chart. This Pareto chart uses 80-20 rules, or known as the law of the vital few and trivial magnet. The 80% of the cut-off line, as shown in the graph, indicate the 80-20 rule, where the significant impact of the small portion of causes, which is the vital few, compared to the less impact of majority of causes, which is trivial magnet. As the graph shows, the important for the few factors that indicate the most attention under the 80% of the cut-off line. This principle is named after the Wilfredo Pareto that used this Pareto chart for his uneven distribution of wealth, where he observed that only 20% of his report in his garden contained 80% of the piece. For another simpler example, which are 80% of the complaints come from the only 20% of the customers. The 80 sales come from the only 20% of the clients, and 80% of the completed purchase comes from the only 20% of the IT bugs. These examples illustrate the majority of the results come from the minority of the causes.
Here is the process of making Pareto chart. Firstly, develop a list of problems or issues to be compared. Secondly, develop a standard measure for comparing the items. For example, how often it occurs, such as frequency, how long it takes, times, and how many resources it uses. Next is choose a time frame for collecting the data. For each item, tally how often it occurred. Then add this amount to determine the grand total of all items. Next, find the percent of each item in the grand total by taking the sum of the item, dividing it by the grand total and multiplying by 100. Next, list the items being compared in decreasing order of the measure of comparison. For example, the most frequent to the least frequent. Then sketch the graph by drawing the bars for each item in the horizontal axis of a graph from highest to lowest. Next, don't forget to label the left vertical axis and the right vertical axis with the numbers and the cumulative percentage respectively. Next, draw a line graph of the cumulative percentage. The first point on the line graph should line up with the top of the first bar and continue until the last bar. Finally, it's time to take action. The highest scoring problem will likely have the biggest payoff once it's fixed. So start taking action.
Pareto chart can be used in different industries such as project management, where it helps project managers to identify crucial tasks. Software development helps developers to identify bugs from users' experience. In manufacturing, Pareto chart can be used to identify and address quality defects. In supply chain management, Pareto chart is used to optimize inventory management. And lastly, customer service, where business owners can identify dissatisfactions from customers through complaints. For the advantages and disadvantages, there are a few. So for the advantage is it is simple and easy to understand, improves communication within teams, and improves decision making by knowing the cause and effect. The disadvantages are oversimplification of a complex issue, and there is also potential for misinformation if 80-20 rule is taken quite literally. And lastly, Pareto chart is only limited to categorical data.
There are three best practices for Pareto chart. Firstly, prioritize the categories. So we can arrange the categories of factors in descending order based on their frequency or impact. Secondly, visual clarity. So designing the Pareto chart to be visually clear is important for easy to understand, such as clear labels, colors, and formatting. And lastly, we will need to focus only on the vital few. So identify the key categories of factors that contribute to the majority of the outcome.
In a study examining coffee sachet production, Pareto charts were employed to analyze defect variability in the automated production line. By gathering production data and plotting it on a Pareto chart, researchers identified prevalent issues such as underweight, leaking, and others, ranked in descendant order of occurrence. The chart revealed a high frequency of defect across various types, indicating wasteful productions. Root causes, including human error, machine malfunctions, work methods, and material issues, were pinpointed, with underweight and leaking defects primarily attributed to unskilled workers and improper machine adjustment. Utilizing the Pareto chart enabled the study to prioritize efforts by identifying the most influential factors contributing to production defects. This focused approach facilitated targeted interventions to address key issues, ultimately leading to enhancements in coffee sachet production quality.
And lastly, me nor Faradiba Binti Ahmad will present the case study 2, which is entitled Quality Improvement of the Forging Process using Pareto Analysis and 8D Methodology in the Automotive Manufacturing. So this paper will introduce a case study considering the forging process in the production of gearbox, where customer complaints were identified in the last year, demanding the needs to eliminate the failure. So therefore, Pareto analysis was applied as the first step in the quality improvement process. The aim was to identify the problem and discover the critical causes of failure in the management system that allow the problem to occur. So by focusing on these key issues, the company was able to significantly reduce the number of defects and improve the quality of the product. So as you can see from figure 7, this Pareto analysis shows that the wrong size was the mainly causes of the failure in the manufacturing products. That's all from our group. Thank you.